Hi guys, so I'm just gonna wait for the panelists to arrive, and then we'll get started on answering your questions. But feel free to begin sending in your questions from now. So, okay, if I do a pre-med undergrad degree from McGill, does it give me any advantage to get into MD at McGill? FYI, I'm an Ontario student.
Okay, so the med school at McGill, the way they take in their applicants, like 90% of their applicants are Quebec residents. And then like 9% is like outside of Quebec, but still within Canada. And they usually take like one international student a year. So that's kind of how that works. I don't know specifically if going to McGill as an Ontario student, I think because a large bulk of the med school entering class is like Quebec residents, if you're an Ontario student, that does put you at a disadvantage right away. But I do think McGill, privileges their own students over other students going into med school, because like they understand the curriculums you came from and stuff like that, and they understand your grading system better. So I definitely think it helps. Yeah.
I would say not really, because medical schools, they really focus on your residency or like where your citizenship is. So I guess in the sense it could give you an upper hand because of networking, because you might know people, like you might be able to develop relationships with like upper year medical students or like PIs and stuff like that. But they really only take, I think, 6 students per year from out of province Canadians. So you really need to be very, very outstanding to get into the MD program at McGill if you're not a Quebec resident, or if you don't do the pre-med program there. Yeah.
So how would you compare McGill's life sciences to health science programs here in Ontario?
I'm only really familiar with like the MAC Health Sci program because I have a few friends who go there, but I would say McGill Life Sci is more, I don't know, it gives you a really good foundation in all the different sciences. As a freshman, you have to take biology, chemistry, physics, and math for any McGill science degree. And there's a lot more focus on, I know like health sci programs at MAC and things like that have a lot of like inquiry courses or things like that, where it's a lot of seminars or like things that are more presentation based and stuff like that. I think McGill is, at least for your first 2 years, a lot of your class sizes are going to be bigger, and it's like standard lecture based, but I think it lays a really good foundation in terms of you having to take a lot of core courses within the science curriculum right off the bat. So yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, what grades in high school do you need to get to be accepted?
I think I can only speak for out of province Canadians. I think IFE is also considered that, so we're pretty similar. If you want to get into, it depends on what like stream of science you're applying to. So they have different percentage requirements. I think on average it was around 93 to 94% in the top 5 grade 12 courses. If that's wrong, correct me, because I applied a few years ago, so you might remember better, IFE. But I think it was something around that area.
Yeah, I think for Ontario, it was top 6. I don't know if it was different.
Yeah, top 6. Yeah.
But yeah, I applied last year, so it was 93.8% for the life science, like biomedical, biological life sciences group. It was like 93.8, but I think if you're right at the cutoff, that might be a little dangerous, because basically the average that they post is the lowest admitted average from the year before. So it's kind of like every year it gets inflated a little more. I think actually this year it was even higher than that. It was like 94 point something. So yeah, it was top 6 courses, and the courses they look at are English, unless French is your like first language, but usually it's English for any Ontario students. Biology, chemistry, 2 math courses, like functions and calculus, and then you get 1 elective. So, yeah.
So is the IB diploma program an advantage in university?
Okay, that's an interesting question. I would say depends on the school you go to. I know most, at least for McGill specifically, IB only you have to take certain HLs, and then like those transfer credits will give you a certain amount of like you, for example, if you do HL bio, you can skip the first two IB bio courses. If you do certain HL like math or chemistries, you can skip those. They also give you like a lot of elective credits, so you don't have to take as many electives. But other than that, the most, I think, useful thing IB taught me was study habits, balancing work, and in terms of course content, I actually didn't feel that it gave me that much of a boost, because I didn't take that many science HLs in high school, so I still had to retake a few first year science courses once I was at McGill, and so yeah, I think it really helps you like transition from high school to university, because the way of teaching was pretty similar. Like you're a lot of times you're on your own instead of being held through courses and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I was actually also in IB. I went to IB in Ottawa, and I did take biology and chemistry HL. So I skipped first year bio and chem, and that means I can finish my degree in 3 years, which is what I'm trying to do. So I think in that aspect, McGill is actually one of the only schools in Canada that really cares about IB in terms of letting you get university credits for your IB courses. So that was cool for me that I got to skip, because a lot of the I'm glad I got to skip like first year bio and chem. I jumped right into second year bio and like second year org, and I think that was good. So if you're looking to like get some university credits or things like that, definitely IB was helpful. I think in terms of content, well, because I skipped the courses that I took HL for, I didn't really have like an edge going forward in my second year courses, but it wasn't like so difficult that I couldn't manage them or anything. So yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, what were your highest and lowest grades when you applied? And I think I'm just gonna add something of my own here as well. So like, what subjects did you particularly struggle with, and which were like comparatively easier for you in high school?
I think personally for me, my highest grade was probably chemistry. Do they want to know like what I got specifically?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
If you're comfortable, like.
Okay. Chemistry I got 99, so that was my class. That was what I got. And then for my lowest, I think it was biology. Well, like in terms of actually no, it was physics. I think I got like high 80s for physics, because I'm not very good at physics. But yeah, I think it obviously depends on what you're good at. So like what the best grade is. But you definitely want to do pretty well in your like grade 11 and grade 12 science courses when you apply.
For us, McGill looked at my February report card in grade 12. I don't know how it's going to work for you guys, especially with online school and everything. It might be a little different this year. But I think all my marks are between 96 and 99 when I applied, at least for my top 6 that I sent in. So I would, if you guys are looking to apply to McGill, basically all they look at is marks. Like really all they look at is your marks. So yeah, it's important to have high marks for McGill, and especially in the required courses, if you want to do biomed, life sci, this group, you need your biology and chemistry marks. So those are important, your English marks. So yeah, I don't think you actually had to include your physics marks, Summer, for.
I think it was just like you had to report all the courses, but they only look at your
they only look at your top 6. For us, it was like through UAC. You just like, I don't even know.
I had to apply through a different thing, but they asked for all of my grades, but they only calculate the average based on the top 6. Yeah, so I guess physics wasn't included in my top 6, but it was still one of my lower grades.
Okay, so the next question is, do you have any tips for like personal statements?
For McGill, your actual application into the university is only your average. Like they just look at your marks and pretty much nothing else. But I did apply for like the major entrance scholarships, which you had to write like an essay for, or 3 essays or something. There were lots of essays, and you had to give like 2 or 3 references. Like they had to write letters for you. So for those, I guess this is pretty generic personal essay statement thing, but just make sure you're writing about something that's actually meaningful to you, and don't try to, make up things for your essay or anything. It has to be authentic, and you can tell when someone is kind of trying to sell themselves on something that they're not actually that familiar with. So I just say be authentic about it and don't leave it last minute. So yeah, but for the actual application to McGill, there's no essay or anything. It's just your marks. They don't look at extracurriculars.
Okay, so moving on, is there a supplementary application to apply into life sciences biomedical stream?
No, there is not. It's just your marks.
So moving on, where did you volunteer if you did any volunteering activities?
Oh, like in first year?
Yeah,
high school?
either before high school, I mean during high school or like during uni, anything is fine.
Okay, well, before high school, I did some volunteering at the hospital and some volunteering at my church. Those are mostly my volunteer activities. And in first year, I was part of 2 clubs. One of them was a research club called Student Research Initiative. So basically what we do is we help undergraduates at McGill get into research. So we have lots of events to help them network or get interviews and things like that. My other club was called Heart for Heart, which basically we raise money for kids with congenital heart disease in third world countries. So yeah.
Well, honestly, if you're gonna apply to McGill, like anything you do in high school doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like outside of grades, like if you're gonna do volunteering and stuff, do it because you want to, or for, and other schools definitely care more, but McGill's very like academic based, so you can do it, but it really wouldn't give you a huge advantage. In first year and second year, I volunteer. I'm a first responder on campus, so I'm a trained Canadian Red Cross responder. So we do a lot of volunteering in residences, in hall councils, in halls, and like special events. So it's a really good opportunity to get first-hand first aid emergency situation experience. I'm also a peer supporter, so I provide mental health support to students on campus. I also run the McGill branch for a medical case competition. In the summer, I did research after my first year. I also volunteered at the hospital at like Montreal General Hospital. And this summer, I like delivered hampers for COVID. Oh, and also I teach kids how to swim with special needs, and I also do drive safe. So I drive kids home at night.
Oh, I've used Drive Safe.
Yeah.
Or I used Walk Safe. Yeah.
Yeah, Drive Safe, Walk Safe, pretty similar.
Do AP classes help with applications at McGill? Like, do you have any friends that took AP classes and kind of said it was helpful?
Yeah, I have a lot of there's a lot of Americans at McGill, like way more than I expected. A lot of them took AP classes, and it's kind of the same as IB. Like you can skip some classes if you took, I know some of my friends took like AP Bio, and if you get a 4 or higher, I think you get to skip first year. So pretty much the same there. You have to meet a certain grade requirement, and then, yeah. And in terms of like the skipping the course, I know some people are like, ooh, like what if I don't want to skip, even if, let's say you took HL Bio, IB, and you got like a 7. You don't have to skip per se, but you get the credit for it. And if you take first year bio again at McGill, you don't get any other credits on top of that, and you can't get a mark for it. Like whatever mark you get in it will not count towards your GPA, because to them it's like you've already taken this course. So yeah, you'd basically just be paying to take the course and study and take an exam, but you don't get any credits for it and you don't get a mark for it. So in that way, McGill kind of forces you to skip those classes.
What I did that was my situation. I actually, what I did was I didn't take the course, but I didn't take it in first year. Like I didn't take the second year bio course in first year. I still took it in second year. I just took other courses
fill,
in
like,
first
electives
year. Because what I heard from everyone was that's super hard, and like I didn't want it to affect my GPA, so I chose to take other courses ahead of time and then took bio with everyone else next year.
It's like if you come in with advanced credits, you can either try to like rush your degree like I'm doing, or you can like fill it up with electives or other courses you're interested in because you have those free electives or free credits kind of thing.
Okay, moving forward, what made you choose McGill over other universities?
I mostly chose McGill because I'm really looking at getting into research, and I think McGill is a really good university to promote undergrad research. Almost all the profs here, at least in the science department, have their own labs and stuff, and there's lots of resources here for undergraduate students. This summer, I've been doing a research internship here in Montreal, so it's really easy to get into research in Montreal because there's lots of universities here, there's lots of professors doing research here, so that was the main attraction point for me. Yeah.
My reason was I wanted to move across Canada. Because I mean, you're from Ottawa, so it's pretty close, but I could have gone to UBC, but I really wanted to experience something different, and I knew McGill is one of the most, I think it is actually has the most international students,
It does, in
all of
Canada,
Canada, and possibly in the US too. There's students from all over the world. I wanted to kind of experience meeting people with different backgrounds, and if you want to, it's a great, I guess it's different now that it's all online, but it's really a good university to step outside of your comfort zone and meet new people, experience the world without having to travel to all these places, because people bring in their own backgrounds. It's super great experience. And also I visited Montreal, and I really like the city. Also McGill's really situated in the city, so it's very convenient for students like us to you don't have to have a car. It's basically downtown. Drinking age is 18 if that's something you care about. So everyone can drink basically if you're even as a first year, and it's just a really good student life and school balance. So that's why I chose McGill.
Okay, so the next question is, how difficult was it to find research opportunities at McGill?
Honestly, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's very approachable and doable at McGill because lots of professors are doing research. So whatever field of research you're interested in, chances are there's going to be a prof at McGill doing that research. There's lots of resources set in place. I'm not trying to plug my club or anything, but my club student research initiative, we have events to help students get into research, things like that. So definitely it's super accessible, and there's lots of opportunities out there if you want to get a research position at McGill, I think.
Yeah, also almost every science undergrad has some form of research experience.
Yeah.
You always it's basically impossible. You can start off doing some not so interesting things, but there's always a chance to get your foot in the door. A lot of students like me, I just cold email profs.
Same.
A bunch of you, and out of the 50, someone's going to reply and you'll get a spot. It usually works, and everyone I know has some form of experience. So if you're really interested in research, it's definitely McGill's super heavily research oriented. So
they also have courses for research. So
yeah.
In most science departments, there's courses called 396 courses, which are undergraduate research courses, which basically you take 3 credits and you do a research project the whole semester.
And most profs like to take students who do the courses.
Yeah.
So if you're doing a course, you'll get a spot and do research.
So I'm just going to ask you one last question. I'm going to blend 2 questions because they're both about French. Okay, so first is, do you have to be good at French to get into McGill? And are you taking any courses in French? If not, is there an option for that in your program?
You don't have to know French to come to McGill. I thought I was going to be able to practice my French here, but the McGill bubble is real. Nobody speaks French here.
And even outside the McGill bubble, nobody, even if they know you don't speak French, they won't speak it to you. I've tried to practice it, and they're like, "I'm gonna speak English." I'm like, "Okay, well then I can't practice unless you leave Montreal, off the island, then maybe." In terms of courses, in science, they don't really require you to take French, but you can definitely take it as an elective. There's French courses intensive French, beginner's French. There's lots of French courses you can take, but that would just be as an elective.
I don't think they offer the science courses in French, if that's what you're asking.
McGill is
it's an English university. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. So you're just going to get a notification anytime now to move into the next breakout room. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have Anna and Jacob here. Anna, feel free to just introduce yourself briefly.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna. I'm going into McGill. Probably I'm going to major in biochemistry and minor in French. And I finished IB So I'm not getting a lot of credits, but I've been exempt from biology, and I got it like I think 20 credits from McGill. So if you have any questions about IB or the application process with IB, I can help you with that.
So a person asks, does taking an online summer high school course affect your application? And do you think it's valued the same?
I took chemistry over the summer, and I think it's totally valued the same because I needed chemistry to get in. That's one of the subjects you require, and they treated it the same. It still went toward my average. So if you have to take a summer school course, there's no wrong in taking it.
Yeah, I think at McGill, it doesn't matter if you take a summer school course, they treat it the same. But at a couple other universities, you have to give a reason why you took it, and like so that it's obvious that you didn't just take it for a good mark or something.
Okay, so the next question is, can you go to med school if you go through life sciences in the biomedical stream?
Yes, for sure. Life sciences, medical science, it's all the same thing. You can really take like anything. You could take an arts degree or I don't know what other like a
Yeah.
math degree and still get into medical school. It just depends on what you like.
Yeah, I know engineers who've gone to medical school, although I will say, specifically with the life sciences, it's probably giving you the best start.
Yeah, no problem. So what courses do you recommend IB students take in HLs?
Definitely biology, chemistry, and math. I didn't take chemistry and math in HL because my school didn't offer it. But if you do take those, then they're going to give you credits for a full year, and you can complete your degree in 3 years instead of 4.
Okay, moving forward, if you're looking into going into medical school, what med schools are you currently looking to apply for?
I'm not. I just applied to university, so I'm not really looking right now. But maybe I'd go to McGill again or somewhere closer to home, UFT.
Okay, so the next question is someone is asking for IB English tips if you took English.
Okay, so read your books in advance, and for all the essays you have to do, I was talking to my mom. Some people like you have a lot of time to do it for like one of the main essays you have to do for a book. So use that time wisely. Like people in my class were scrambling the week before to get an essay done. So get your essay done quickly and then take time editing.
Thank you. Okay, so the next question is, if you're comfortable answering, what was your grade 12 average?
So I think it was around a 95, but I don't know for sure. So around that number.
Yeah, I think mine was about the same as well. But again, I didn't really calculate it. I think for our year as well, with every schools getting shut down, I think the averages mean a bit less this year as well.
Okay, so the next question is, I'm not sure if you've lived in Montreal or are living there right now, but someone's asking, how is your experience living in Montreal so far? Can you briefly talk about the cost of living or student life in Montreal comparing to Ontario?
Just being a big city, it's not a cheap place to live.
But I think it's one of the best cities for student life and for living too. Like compared to the big cities in Canada, like Vancouver, Toronto, it is a bit less because it's like a student city and there's a lot of things to do, a lot of places to explore. So that's one of the reasons I chose it. And if you want to learn French, it's a great place to go to.
Okay, awesome. So the next question is, how much is tuition and residency? Just an approximate.
Tuition for Canadian residents, uh, somewhere in the ballpark of $10,000. Residents, depending on which res you're in, can range from about 10 grand to as much as 16 grand or 18 grand, I think. So there's a big range there. But if you're international, I think it's a lot more expensive.
Mm-hmm. And that price for residents includes your meal plan, so you don't really, first year it's nice because you don't really have to worry about making food for yourself. And also like laundry services, all those little things and that you have to worry about later on.
So the next question is, do you think IB gave you an advantage when applying to McGill? And how do IB marks work when applying out of province if you applied from outside of Quebec? And Jacob, you can also answer according to like whatever curriculum you followed in high school and how you think you stood out as an applicant.
IB helped me prepare for the difficulty of university because it is like more rigorous. And really, I think they took my like Ontario marks that were converted into percentages, but it did help me. It will help me at McGill because it'll give me a few credits here and there. So you can take more courses, you can take spares. I think I got around 20 credits because I didn't really take any science HLs except for biology. So I think instead of 4 years, I'll be able to complete my degree in 3.5 years, which isn't that bad.
I think IB and AP will definitely help you stand out a bit for applying from Canada outside of Quebec. But if you're just in normal high school, they just really look at your average, so I don't think there's a whole lot you can do.
Okay, so are there any international students in the biomed stream in McGill? So, like, do you have any international friends, or do you have like any approximate maybe of how many international students were accepted?
I can't give an exact number, but I think McGill is known as a university with a big international population.
Yes, I agree.
So the next question is, what general tips would you give for those applying to your major?
Well, you don't have to declare a major until second year, but it's always good to be one step ahead, to know what you sort of like and take courses that are sort of engineered for that major. But also don't be afraid to try things outside of what you're thinking of doing because you never know, you might change your mind, might take this as a major. So don't be afraid to try new courses.
So the next question is, how long do students typically spend studying per day in their first year of life science or biomedical? Is it a huge jump from time spent studying in high school?
I don't know because we haven't started yet.
Okay.
And it's going to be online. So maybe, I don't know how much they estimated. I don't remember. Was it 20 hours? I don't know exactly.
I think from what I've heard, I think if you're taking a standard 15 credit semester, they say between your classes and your studying and your homework, it should take you about 45 hours a week.
So the next question is for Anna. What did you do your IBEE on?
Okay, so I did my EE in biology. It was like about BMI and health, and it was really it was a database. I didn't really do the experiment and everything, and this year they marked it down. So I think this is really sad. I think it was predicted an A or a B, and I got a C. But I was happy I passed. Like I thought it was pretty good, but this year because of Corona, they marked it a bit differently.
Okay, so the next question is, did you apply for any scholarships, and if so, which one? So if you can kind of explain how that application process was like, go ahead.
So there are two types of scholarships. One's based on your grades. So for grade 11 and 12, you have to have an average of 95%, and that scholarship is automatic. It's about $3,000. And then there's a major scholarship, which you have to apply for. There's 2 essays and then a question about your extracurriculars. So that's where they come in, and they're important if you want that scholarship money. And I think it's due at the beginning of February. But it is very competitive. So start planning ahead of time. Don't do it a week before like I did.
Yeah, I think Anna covered everything for that one.
So the next question is, did either of you take physics in high school, even though it's not considered a prerequisite? And would you say it helped you with your acceptance, or will help with the coursework that you're going to start soon?
I'd say, yeah, so I took physics. I think it will help because you do have to take physics 101 and 102 first year. And if you did high school physics, I think most of those courses are just going to be review. So it's definitely going to help you a lot. I don't think if you don't take them, you're not missing out on anything for your acceptance. But if you have the space in your timetable, it's probably a pretty good option to take physics.
Yes, I agree. It may not help you with your top 6, but it's good to have the knowledge because then you're ready for university. Because for me, it didn't help me. I wasn't that good at physics, but that's okay too. It's good to take it and have the knowledge as well.
Mm-hmm. So the next question is, any tips on studying biology?
Read a lot, because one of the things I like about biology is a lot of it's just information. And so if you can be reading a lot and just interested in it and reading on your own time, I think a lot of that can help you out with your studying in school.
And you have to see what method works best for you. Like some people like to rewrite the textbook, but if you don't have the time, you can write in the textbook. So try different methods until you reach one that works for you.
So the next question is, would you say going to McGill has an advantage over universities in Ontario or any specific benefits?
Well, I know McGill is an international university, so there's a lot of international students, like Jacob said, and it's really good like in the US, around the world. So that's why I think McGill has an advantage. Because if you want to go live anywhere else, they'll easily accept you because McGill is very internationally oriented.
Yeah, like Anna said, I think maybe aside from U of T, it's definitely the most internationally recognized university in Canada.
Okay, so another question is, what other universities did you apply to?
Well, I didn't apply to many. I don't know. I just didn't end up applying. I always wanted to go to McGill, but I applied to McMaster because it was close to home, University of Mississauga, and U of T.
Yeah, I applied to Queen's, Waterloo, and McMaster as well as McGill, but McGill was actually the only place I applied for science. I applied for engineering and all the others actually.
Thank you. So the next question is, would you happen to know how many people are accepted into the life sciences program? Like any approximates or
I
just no
think it's
idea
like
at all?
45%, like a 50% chance. But if your grades are above the average you need, you're good to go.
Okay, thank you. So have the amount or type of research opportunities been impacted due to the coronavirus pandemic and the online studying? And I'm just gonna add something of my own. Like, were you guys involved in research during high school? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, we had our IAs in IB, so that was sort of research, but it wasn't really researched that much. I don't know about, I think things are reopening here in Montreal, so I think the research opportunities are becoming more and more available, especially over the summer. And by the time you start university, there'll still be tons of research opportunities.
Yeah, I'm hoping what Anna said is true because if it is, then I mean, McGill is one of the top research universities in the country.
So the next question is, why did you guys choose McGill over the other universities? Just looking at the big picture.
Um,
Go ahead, Anna.
Oh, okay. I think I always wanted to go to McGill. Like first, I wanted to go in Europe, but when I saw the prices there, McGill reminds me so much of Europe. It has a good student life, and I really wanted to learn like French. French was a big thing for me because I really want to improve to the point where I'm fluent. And I thought McGill is a place to go because like all signs are in French. People mostly speak French, so you're almost forced to speak French in a good way.
For me, McGill was the only place I applied for science. So once I figured out I wanted to do science, I didn't exactly have a lot of other options.
So following up to that, Jacob, this question is for you. What made you choose science instead of engineering?
At the end of the day, it was just I find science, especially biology, really interesting. I love reading about it. Whereas engineering, it's just a lot of math, and specifically like for chem eng, it would have been thermodynamics and stuff. And it's just not stuff that I think I would have enjoyed studying as much.
Thank you. Okay, so the next question is, how can you make your grade 12 grades over 95 in high school? So just talking about any study habits, improving on your math and English skills, science, etc. Whatever study habits work for you.
Well, for those subjects, definitely do your homework every day, especially for math. Like I know in grade 11, I sort of fell behind like weeks, and that wasn't good. So do your homework every day. Don't skip a day. I mean, if you have to, but really try to be diligent with your homework and keep on top of things.
Yeah, you just got to keep up with the homework. Again, if you put stuff off to the last minute, it just it ends up hurting you a lot because stuff will take a lot longer than you think, and then you got to stay up till like 2 a.m. So give yourself lots of time to do stuff and do stuff as soon as you can.
I think this is going to be the last question before we move on to the main room. What if you don't understand something and it's online? So how do you think you'll, kind of go about that?
So I actually read on my chemistry outline that professors will have office hours. So they'll have pre-recorded lectures and then office hours. So you could ask whatever question you have at an office hour, which is nice to have.
Yeah, you really just got to find someone who can help you figure it out. So that's either got to be office hours or other friends you have in the same program.
Mhm. All right, thank you so much. So I think it's just about time to move to the main room. So I think let's just move on to there. And yeah.
So Rahina, okay. So we just want to begin by thanking all of our panelists for taking time out of their days and putting an effort to answer all of our questions. It was super beneficial, I'm sure, to all of our attendees. And we also want to thank our attendees as well, because without you guys, we can't really make events. So yeah, we just wanted to thank everybody present here.
We'll also be sending a brief feedback form on the chat, so Valerie will send it right now. So please feel to fill it out. Feel free to fill it out after you've attended all of the panels you've wanted to attend, or if you just want to, fill it out as you go along. That's fine as well. Your responses will be anonymous. And we'd also like to remind you that today's panel will be recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel. And I think someone on the chat asked for our YouTube channel name, so I think Navya can leave that in. And also, just the panelists can also feel free to just send in any of their social media handles. So, kind of attendees who didn't get their questions answered can always follow up with you guys. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you everyone again for being here. Be sure to check out our website and also follow us on Instagram, because our bio will have the recording once it's up. I'm leaving it in the chat. But yes, thank you everyone. And panelists, if you guys are okay with it, please send your Instagram handles or any other way to contact you if you feel comfortable doing so. I will, just before you go, I'll put in our YouTube channel just so you guys have that in case you want to see. We have one from our previous event there right now. And then as soon as it's up, we'll send you guys as well here. And about the recording, so we will record it. We did record the breakout rooms. It takes time to edit it, so we'll try to get them up by next week. And our Instagram will let you guys know, and our social media will let you guys know when it's up. But it will be in our YouTube channel. And then right before, I just wanted to remind you guys of the schedule for the rest of the week. So tomorrow we have Western for Med Sciences. Thursday we have U of T for Life Sciences. And then finally on Friday we have MAC for Health Sciences, all 4 to 5 p.m. EST. And it's, again, first come, first serve. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, panelists and attendees. I hope this was super helpful to everyone. And we hope to see you soon.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys.